Hi everybody, Ellen here. Today I come to you guys with my February TBR. I cannot believe it's February already, and I don't know, because I'm most likely gonna end up with a TBR of 15 books again, since apparently I suck at throwing my rings on this thing. And yeah, it's the shortest month of the year and I'm struggling to read during the work week, to say the least. And yeah, it will be interesting to see how it goes. But as you guys know, on my TBR videos, I do my hook toss TBR. I throw rubber rings onto the hook toss board, and the number I hit, or the hook if you will, that will be the prompt that I have to find a book for, which I'm later on going to read. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. So let's start with the first throw, and hopefully we'll get a TBR that is smaller than, 15 books. Yeah, throw number 1. Oh, now I had to do 7 throws, big surprise. It's even remotely close. Yes. The prompt was new author. New author, I chose Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore. This is a historical romance. I've just started to get into a little bit of romance, but I've never read a historical romance. So really intrigued by this one. I've heard good things at least. But this one takes place in Oxford in 1879. And we have Annabelle Archer, and she's one of the first female students at Oxford University, and in return for her scholarship she must recruit influential men to champion the rising women's suffrage movement. That's a struggle, hard word to say. Her first target is Sebastian Devereux, cold, calculating and the most powerful duke in England. But when Annabelle and her friends infiltrate his luxurious estate, she's appalled to find herself attracted to the infuriatingly intelligent aristocrat. But perhaps she's not the only one struggling with desire. Soon Annabelle is locked in a battle with rising passion and a will matching her own. She'll need to learn fast just what it takes to bring down a duke. So that sounds really intriguing. I feel like there's going to be some plot lines, the whole suffragette movement and school and everything like that, alongside the romance plot. So that will be really interesting. Throw number 2. We're doing 8 throws. 9 throws. Yes. So the prompt is book with an animal on the cover. And for the prompt book with an animal on the cover, I've chosen Seeker of the Wild Realm by Alexandra Ott, because there's a dragon on the cover, and then on the back it's a unicorn, a phoenix and a firecat. So not real animals, but it still counts. So this one we meet 12-year-old Bryn, and she always dreamt of becoming a seeker, just like her dad. And a seeker is tasked with collecting magical items for the wild realm and protecting the creatures who dwell there. But there's just one problem: only guys can become seekers. And so Bryn is determined to change that when a seeker position turns up. And then she got a big rival with Ari for the vacant position. He shows her his big secret, meaning a hidden baby dragon just outside the village, and they agree upon some things to help each other out. So this sounds really amazing. I love dragon stories. I love middle grade. This is gonna be good. Throw number 3. Ooh. This prompt was first book I touch, which will be very interesting. And for first book I touch, I just went to the shelf and poked on something, and that turned out to be Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nyongan. Sorry for butchering that. This was like the talk of the town, like a year, 2. I don't know how long this has been out, but a lot of people were talking about it when it first came out, and I just want to be part of the crowd, to know what it's all about. It came out in 2018 and I bought it in 2019, I think, so like a year. And I don't really know a lot, I think, because it doesn't really say anything either, because it's just quotes everywhere. But in the back it says, in my land we're known as paper girls, easily torn, existing only for others to use and discard. But there's something they've all forgotten about paper. It can light the world on fire and make it burn. So I think they're supposed to be, you know, they go to the castle, they're supposed to choose a girl to marry, you know, the prince is supposed to choose a girl to marry, and she doesn't really want to go. Like, I don't really remember, but it sounded really awesome when I heard about it, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Throw number 4. Doing 10 throws. Yes. So the prompt for this one was read an ebook or listen to an audiobook. And then for the prompt, read an ebook or listen to an audiobook, I've chosen Dawn Shard by Brandon Sanderson. This is the like 3.5 book novella in the Stormlight Archive series. And I did read the Rhythm of War, which is the 4th book, in December, and I just never had the time to include that novella before I read that chunker, so I just feel like I need to do it now. So that's gonna be my audiobook for the month. Can't really tell you guys a lot about this series, but it involves a lot of war and revenge for dead kings and shard blades and shard plates, because, you know, magical items that will help you through war and stuff. Really kick-ass series. I love it so much. Throw number 5. Yes. And once again, we've managed to get the prompt for 500 plus pages, which we also had in December. So guess I'll be reading a lot of chunky books again. So for 500 plus pages, I have chosen Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. This is the first book in the Outlander series. I started reading this during vacation in 2017. I got about 252 pages into it, and then vacation was over and I just never picked it up again. And this book has been on so many of my TBRs since then, and I just never get to it. So this time it's going to happen, because I have like 500-ish pages left of it, and I mean, I do remember bits and pieces of what I've already read, because not a lot had happened yet, and I do love historical fiction, and I just feel like this would be one of the series that you kind of need to read. So yeah, but in this one takes place in 1946. We meet Claire Randall, and she's on her, I think, 2nd honeymoon or something like that, and they're in the Scottish Highlands, and she accidentally walked through sort of these standing stones of some sort, and she gets transported back to 1743, and she meets the British Army officer who happens to be her husband's 6 times great-grandfather, and she also meets you know, Jimmy Fraser, who everybody knows who it is. And like I said, I really enjoyed what I have read so far, so hopefully I will enjoy the rest as well. That was also the 2nd time that we hit number 7, so if that happens one more time, I have to add another throw. So now we're going to move on to throw number 6. We're doing 11 throws. Yes. The prompt is to start a new series, and I definitely have a lot of those, so that could be anything. And then for new series, I chose a series I've been wanting to read for so long, and that is Wolf by Wolf by Ryan Groden. This is the most horrendous cover ever. There's definitely a prettier one, but you know, sometimes the stores don't send you the covers that they show on the picture, and that really freaking annoys me, because now this one doesn't match my other book in the series, but whatever. But this is a historical fiction. This takes place in 1956, and it's sort of the fallout after Second World War, and this is sort of what would have happened if Hitler was the one that won the war in Germany. And they have this sort of race, and the ones that win the race will be able to meet Hitler himself. And we have Yael, who's a former death camp prisoner, and she wants to, you know, win the race to be able to kill Hitler. And she also has the power to skin shift, which will be making it a lot easier, because then she can skin shift into the last year's only female racer, Adele Wolf, and, you know, can she be as ruthless as she needs to be able to, you know, get to her goals. So yeah, it sounds really great. I've heard great things about this series, so looking forward to this. That was 2nd time I got 5. If I do it again, I get to add another throw, and we're going to go for throw number 7. Yes, prompt was TBR TBR pile of shame, meaning read a book that I have started but have yet to finish. For TBR pile of shame, there could be several books. But this one I chose True Life by J. Kristoff. This is the third and final book in the Lifelike trilogy. This one came out in June 2020, I think, and this was one of my absolutely most hyped releases besides like Rhythm of War. And I read 18 pages of it and then I put it down for whatever reason and I just never picked it up. And I continuously forgot to put it on my TBR, so I didn't get to read it, and it just needs to happen because I love this series so much. It's been amazing and I just need to read it so I can finish it and, you know, fall in love with everything. But this one, we meet Evie, and while she's sort of doing this robot fight thing in an arena, she accidentally reveals to the world that she has sort of the capacity to scream and make sort of mechanic things fry and, you know, break. And that's not normal. People see her as a deviant, which is really dangerous because they might, you know, try to kill you. So she escapes with her friends Lemon Fresh and Cricket, and they're awesome. I love Cricket so much. And back to her grandpa's house, but on the way there they take this shortcut through the junkyard and they find a lifelike, which is sort of a robot that looks really, really, you know, lifelike, and you can't really tell it's a robot unless you cut it open. She brings the lifelike body with her back to her grandpa. They get sort of attacked and they escape. And this is sort of about Evie trying to figure out where she comes from, what happened to her parents and stuff like that. And it's so good, and the second book just blew my mind, and the first one as well. So I just really need to get on to this one. Moving on to throw number 8. We're also doing 12 throws. Yes! It kind of got stuck on 2, but we're gonna pick the one it's stuck on first. And the prompt was book with nature on the cover. Then for the prompt of book with nature on the cover, I have chosen Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, because there's like branches and like berries of some sort and some flower looking things. It looks amazing either way. This will be a reread. I read Little Women like, I want to say like 4 years, no, it has to be more. I think I went to university, so maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I did read it in Swedish the first time around, so I really want to reread it in English, and I want to continue on with the series because I think there's like 4 books in the series, and this one contains the first 2 because sometimes apparently they're split. But yeah, I don't really remember like anything. I know we have 4 sisters and their dad dies or something, so they live with their mother, and there's, you know, engagement things going on and just trying to survive the cold harsh winter, and just really awesome sibling relationships, and that's like all I remember pretty much. But yeah, I really loved it the first time around, so hopefully I will like it even more this time around. So we're going for throw number 9. Yes, prompt is highest rated. And then the prompt for highest rated, I went into my Goodreads, you know, categorize it from highest to lowest. And the first book that was not second part of a series I haven't read yet turned out to be The Light in Hidden Places by Sharon Cameron. And this is a historical fiction. It takes place in 1943. And for 4 years, 16-year-old Stefania has been working for the Diamond family in the grocery store in Przemysl. I really can't pronounce Polish cities. Apparently Przemysl? Przemysl. I'm really sorry. That's not even close. Anyway, in a Poland city, and she's singing her way into their lives and hearts. She's even made a promise to one of their sons, Isio, a I can't say that word either. They must keep secret since Stefania is Catholic and the Diamonds are Jewish. But everything changes when the German army invades the Polish city we're talking about. The Diamonds are forced into the ghetto, and Stefania is alone in an occupied city. The only person left to care for Helena is her 6-year-old sister. And then comes the knock at the door. Isio's brother Max has jumped from a train headed to a concentration camp. Stefania and Helena makes the extraordinary decision to hide Max and eventually 12 more Jews too. Then they must wait every day for the next knock at the door, the one that will mean death. When the knock finally comes, it is 2 SS officers requisitioning Stefania's house for the German army. With 2 Nazis living below, 13 Jews hidden above, and a little sister by her side, Stefania has one more excruciating choice to make. This sounds so freaking interesting and amazing, and I don't know why it's been on my shelf for like the past 2 years or 1.5, and I really want to read this one now. For throw number 10. Yes, prompt is contemporary. And just to try to, get through a couple of books in the shortest month of the year, I chose Clap When You Land for contemporary. So this is written in verse, so it should be a really quick read. I've read one Elizabeth Acevedo book before and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I hope I really enjoyed this one too, and it will be a very quick read to say the least. But in this one we meet Camino, and she lives in the Dominican Republic, but her father is supposed to come visit her because she sort of lives for those visits. But when she arrives at the airport, she sees crowds of crying people. And then we have Yahaira, sorry for butchering the names, is called to the principal's office where her mother is waiting to tell her that her father, her hero, has died in a plane crash. And then, separated by distance and public secret, the 2 sisters are forced to face a new reality in which their lives are forever altered. Now, Kamina and Yahari are both left to grapple with their grief, their newfound love for one another. As it turns out, the father had 2 lives, so they both share the same father, and none of them knew about it. So, intrigue! And now we're going to go for throw number 11. Officially doing 13 throws. 14 throws. Yes. And the prompt is YA. And we have another book I should have read ages ago. For YA, I've chosen A Reaper at the Gates by Sabah Tahir. This is the 3rd book in a Number in the Ashes quartet, I want to say. I have re-listened to the 1st and 2nd book in the last 2 months just because I want to be able to get to this one, because I've never read it and I really love this series so far. And Jamie bought this one for me signed like in 2019, I want to say, or something like that, when it came out, and I haven't read it, and it's horrible on my part. 2018, just kidding, I've had it for a really long time. So the first one we meet Laia, and her brother is actually arrested for treason and put into jail, and she wants to do anything she can to, get him out of there. So she actually contacts this sort of rebellion group and tries to convince them to break him out of prison. But for them to be willing to do so, they want her to go undercover at this sort of military academy, the ones that runs the country, and go undercover as a slave and sort of a maid type thing, and report back to them. And then in exchange for that, they will break her brother out of prison, and let go there, and she's treated like shit because they treat her as a slave, because that's what they think she is. And she meets Elias, who's actually part of the military, and maybe they decide to help each other out. Going for throw number 12. Yes. The prompt is graphic novel or manga, which will at least be good because that's a quick read at least. For graphic novel or manga, I have chosen Death Note Black Edition. This is the 3rd volume, and this is by Tsugumi Uba and Takeshi Obata. This is, since it's the Black Edition, it's like the, what is it? It's 2 volumes combined into 1. So this includes volume 5 and 6. And I really like the first 2 of these, and it's such a quick read since it's a manga, so I feel like it's the shortest month of the year. I really need something quick. But in the first one we meet like Yagami, and he is a very like successful student. He's got really good grades and everything. One day he finds this death note lying on the ground, and if you write someone's name in the death note, they will die. You can even specify when or how they're going to die, and he starts to kill off maybe some like bad people, you know, but then after a while he realizes that maybe not everything is as black and gray as he originally thought. And yeah, I really enjoyed this series so far, so I really look forward to continuing on with it. For throw number 13, and now we're officially on 15 throws, meaning that I won't add any more. So once again, 15 books. I really have to change the rules for next month. But yeah, we're still going for through number 13 then. Yes. And this prompt is LGBTQ+. And we have You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. I feel like a lot of people talked about it when it was new and it sounded really interesting. So we have Liz, and she has always believed she's too black, too poor and too awkward to shine, and she has planned an escape route from her small town via an uber elite college, but she has no money to actually go there, and that's until she's reminded of her school's scholarship for prom king and queens. Liz fears the spotlight but must face the gauntlet of social media trolls and catty competitors. The only thing that makes it halfway bearable is the new girl in school, Mac. She's smart, funny, and just as much of an outsider as Liz, but Mac is also in the running for the queen. Will falling for the competition keep Liz from her dreams or make them come true? So this is for LGBTQ+. We're going for throw number 14. The prompt is hyped book, and then for hyped book I've chosen The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I'm already shooting myself in the foot with so many chunky books. This has also been on quite a few TBRs by now, and people seem to be raving about this book and this entire series. I think the third book came out in 2020 or something like that. I don't know if it's supposed to be a trilogy, but I just really need to read it because I've had it for such a long time. I had it for like, I don't know, 2 years at least, I think, and I just want to get to it, and I don't really know a lot about it. There's supposed to be like opium dens and stuff, to be war, and we meet this war orphan Fang, who grew up with the poppy remains, and her adoptive family smuggles it through the province and make a living on the misfortune of those addicted to its smoke. But then Rin's parents force Rin, her nickname, force her into an arranged marriage, and Rin refuses to accept her fate and finds her way to the prestigious military academy at Signgard. And we all love a good military academy story, so I really want to read this one. Now we only have one more throw to go. The prompt for this one is random book. And then I randomized, you know, to get a random number. I ended up on 58, and then I looked through my Goodreads on the books I own, and that came through with Wild Spark by Washington Hardy. Haven't actually read any of her books yet. I do own the Bright Storm duology, but haven't actually gotten around to it, even though it's been on at least one TBR. But this one, it says, in Medlock, machines doesn't come to life, life comes to machines. Prue Hayward is on a mission, getting the ghost machines of Medlock to remember the people they used to be. She needs to find her brother Francis. If she fails, her brother will stay dead. And if she succeeds, all of society may fall apart. So that sounds really intriguing, and I'm really excited for this one. So yeah, those are all the books I want to attempt reading in February. I know there's a lot because there's 15, because I always end up with 15. But yeah, at least they have some romance, verse, contemporary, middle grade, manga. I mean, I should fly through those, hopefully. I really hope so. But yeah, if you've read any of these books, please let me know down below what you thought about them, without spoiling, of course. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give me some thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking the button down below. And yeah, I hope to see each other in the next one. Bye!